With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? In the previous story, we were just talking about how Warner Brothers is planning 12 to 14 films a year, 3 to 4 New Line films, 1 to 2 tentpole Warner Brothers Pictures films. But one of the things that they mentioned was 1 to 2 DC movies. 1 to 2. This is the first kind of executive level pronouncement that we've had about the type of output we can expect from James Gunn and Peter Safran's cinematic universe. Now, James Gunn has in the past made reference to, we are going to be quality over quantity. We are not going to rush out tons of projects. We are not going to overstretch ourselves, because you got to remember, he is very good friends with Kevin Feige. He watched close up Kevin Feige overextend himself and get overextended. And then it got even worse after James Gunn left, when, Chapek came in and blah, blah, blah. And that really got out of the hand. He's saying, we're not going to say, because somebody once asked James Gunn, how many movies are you going to put out per year? He goes, I'm not going to answer that. We're going to put out movies when we have a movie that's ready to go.
Paul Masson, no wine before it's time.
That's how we're going to do it. And for him to look back, because, I think Marvel was firing on all of its cylinders the most when it had like 3 films coming out per year. Now, we all started to go, uh-oh, when they started like announcing, what was the one year where they had like 9 projects come out? They had so many movies, so many TV shows on Disney Plus, and it was like a madhouse. Now, the 1 to 2 films obviously doesn't count maybe shows like Lanterns. So I'm sure they'll maybe aim for 1, maybe 2 shows per year. But look, the fan side of me, Rob, goes, I want as much DCU content as I can get. But I also saw what happened over at Marvel once they were told, make as much content as we can pump out. And it went bad. I love right now that this is sitting in that spot where James Gunn said they were going to do. It's like, we only think we can put out the highest quality product at this rate per year. And I love that. Now, look, maybe 3-4 years down the line, they expand their team, and James Gunn is like, we feel like we're just sitting around a lot now. We feel like we have got this thing down. We feel like we have the infrastructure and the people and all that kind of stuff. Maybe now we can make 2 to 3 per year. Maybe that happens somewhere down the line. But for them to come out and say, hey, this is what you can expect from us. Sure. 1 to 2, because we are going to focus on our quality. We're not going to rush anything out. We're not going to announce release dates until we have fully completed scripts, all that kind of stuff. And the result is 1 to 2 films per year. Part of me a little bit disappointed, because after seeing Superman, I want all that shit that I can get. But at the same time, I want it at that quality. So anyway, Rob, you're hearing now Warner Brothers saying officially, DC is going to do 1 movie per year to 2 movies per year. Good idea, bad idea, pros, cons. How do you see it?
Well, I think, look, the fact that James Gunn stated the most important thing, we're only going to make the scripts that we feel are ready, which we know is the exact opposite. Even Marvel, when they made Iron Man 1, it was a very iterative process. You can listen to Jeff Bridges tell the story about how they were rewriting on set, which I understand because Favreau, the director, is a writer himself. Look at a movie like Swingers, So that makes sense to me that you have an auteur director. I don't think he wrote the script for Iron Man, but he's a writer himself. He's a deft, clever writer. So that makes sense to me. But making 1 to 2 movies a year in the DCEU, first of all, it makes it sort of prestigious. They're not going to do a flurry of this stuff. And if they did 1 to 2 movies and maybe 1 to 2 TV shows, that's pretty cool. And I would say there you go, and you're getting a sort of an artisanal, a crafted group of here's a universe that is at least curated by one man at the top of the studio. He's handpicking creators to make what he thinks are the best scripts possible. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a fantastic way to do business. I wish that Star Trek would do that.
Do you see any downside, though? Like any potential downside?
Well, if they become really successful, the studio's going to be like, well, this movie made $1 billion and that movie made $1 billion. Can't you make us another one? I mean, look, that is the as wise men and women have said in the business, the problem with Hollywood is the fact that there really is not a lot of great material. You'd think, look, I know in the 90s, I was a reader. I was a story analyst. And I worked for CAA, William Morris. I worked for producers. I worked at studios, Silver Pictures. I would say that one script out of 100,
If that.
was good. In my entire career as a reader that spanned about 5 years, I only said yes to one script. And that was Andy Kevin Walker's Seven. And I read that in 1990, and the movie didn't come out till 95. Of all the garbage that I read, now I read other scripts that got made, like Copycat, with Sigourney Weaver and Holly Hunter. That was good. Face Off, very different version than I read, but there were scripts that I read that were good. But for the most part, Judge Dredd. I was the first person to read that, William Wisher's Judge Dredd script. But and that was a very different movie because they added comedy relief to it. And John Woo was going to be they submitted it to John Woo.
Did I ever tell you about because I used to have to review and read scripts. Did I ever tell you about the worst one that I ever had to read?
No.
Oh God. Okay. So,
I know what mine is too.
okay, let me tell you mine, then I want to hear yours. So for this production company, they hand me this script. Say, like, take a look at this, give us your notes.
I can't wait.
I kid you not. The name of it was Canes. Canes.
Canes. C-A-N-E-S?
Yes.
Not like the chicken fingers place.
No, not like chicken fingers. So it's like, okay. Nice title. I read it. This was not a comedy. This was a dead serious thriller. So the basic idea of Canes is that it starts with a guy kind of investigating a mysterious death of this guy, and the only thing found in the room was no death weapon of murder, nothing like that, just a cane. Which was funny because there's nothing physically wrong with that guy who died. Anyway, the long and short of it is, there's a secret cabal of supernatural living canes, who literally canes, like the canes you used to walk. Yeah. So they imagine them talking to each other in like, what was the name of that movie where it was like all these judges meet together secretly at night to pass judgment?
The Star Chamber?
Star Chamber. It's like this Star Chamber of canes who over the course of centuries you see these, and then pictures of like, who was the big UK prime minister during the World War?
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill, like pictures of Churchill and pictures of other world leaders with canes. It's like, oh my God, they've infiltrated every part of our culture and ever, and they're secretly diabolically these living canes to take over the world. And it's not just that the idea is stupid; everything in it was stupid. It's like the single worst thing I ever. And I remember I didn't even write a note. I'm supposed to do this report on it, right?
Coverage.
You're supposed to do the coverage report. And I'm like, I didn't even write a note. I just wrote no. It's like, anyway, what was the worst one you ever read?
Okay, I say this as a Jew myself. The worst script I've read. First of all, there are things, if there are 3 Brads in scripts, never. A third Brad is unprofessional. 12-point Courier, maybe you can have it bold or underlined. But if that's not on the cover of a script, you know it's going to be bad. And I used to read for CAA, and you had to read unsolicited scripts. You had to take like 2 open weekend. And there was this pile you never wanted to take from, but you had to. And if you didn't get into this agency at 9 a.m. Friday morning, you were left with the worst of the worst.
Right.
So I think I was there, and there was only one script remaining on the table. And it had a picture drawn on it of a stereotypical Jewish guy. And the title of the script was The First Jewish Evangelist. And the script was about the wall that divided heaven and hell was crumbling. So heaven needed to find a Jew to run a telethon to raise money to repair the wall between heaven and hell.
Well, it's a good thing the wall wasn't falling apart like in the 1400s when there was no telethons you could have done. Because they would have been screwed. Heaven would have been screwed.
Dude, I mean, dude, I read the script, and the thing is, I still have that script somewhere.
Oh my God.
And by the way, if you wrote that script, I would love to interview you. Because, oh my God.
Oh, I just realized we're supposed to be talking about DC's film output.
Right.
I think both of you guys missed huge opportunities. One, you could have then used Heaven as a Place on Earth for your movie. And then you, John, could have had an opportunity for the sentient microphone.
That's right.
Oh,
I'm just saying, you guys missed out.
maybe that's where
right.
you actually got the idea.
Felipe, the sentient, oh, there he is. Felipe, the sentient dancing microphone on my John Campea figure. There he is. Anyway, back to DC. Back to DC, of course.
Short-sighted,
But this
you guys.
really, the 1 to 2 thing really does highlight again the real commitment. Because look, we're used in this business to hearing directors, executives say the right things, but they don't actually do it. It was great when we heard James Gunn say, we're going to emphasize quality over quantity. We're not going to greenlight anything or announce release dates until we have a fully completed script. Okay, those are the good things to say. But what did we say last year? We said, okay, that sounds good, but are they actually going to do it? And it looks like he's actually doing it.
Well, and also, this is a publicly traded company. So if you're saying something like this, it means shareholders are going to look at that. They're going to look at Warner Brothers' performance. I mean, if you're a shareholder of Warner Brothers stock and you're interested in movies, you've got to be happy. Companion should have made $50 million, and that was a New Line film. But Warner Brothers has had hit after hit after, like, every month. They've had hits. You know, Weapons opens today, and we're projecting
so
another
excited for
hit.
that. Yeah.
Dude, hours.
Yep.
Go Warner Brothers.
All right, guys.
Woohoo!
Question is for you. What do you think about this? James Gunn and DC, apparently supported by David Zaslav, are saying that their output schedule for theatrical films is going to be just 1 to 2 per year. Good thing, bad thing, pros, cons, whatever you guys think about that, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.